How we doing, chat? Been about a week. Gotta do a short stream today just to go over some more college Mario Kart stuff. How we doing though? I will say, quite a few stuff has happened despite nothing actually happening. You're looking into like, especially from a CKL perspective of things, what the hell is happening? Why are there so many teams? We have seedings to talk about, and it's not even from staff. I love the fact that the community is actually at the point now where it's like, let's make our own seedings. Let's see what happens. And now here, look, as one of the people on staff, I get to look at them and give a brief insight into how do I feel about your seedings and whatnot. But anyways, it'll be a stream. Good stream. Be it.
Okay,
Here,
Fred.
at least. So, what do we got today? NRC updates. Mostly tying NRC into CKL at this point, trying to see like names. It goes into the last thing, the programs to watch, players to watch. NRC is giving us a lot of good information just into like who's going to be going into the fall season, especially with teams that like have newer programs and all that. There are a lot of players who are like we don't really know about. I think that's going to be really helpful to have for our end. So we'll go into that. We'll touch the base on CKL because what are we at seeding wise? What are we at with the number of teams? 43? I don't know if we're actually getting 43 teams because I know there's quite a few that we're thinking might be back. I think I just heard that EIU is coming back, and I'm like, yay on one hand, because it's like EIU hasn't exactly had the strongest track record when it comes to college Mario Kart, but hey, you never know what's going to happen. And it's especially interesting because like EIU is one of those teams where we know nothing about between seasons. I don't know if they're playing like at all between semesters, but if they are, you never know. Watch them be like a surprise team, and everyone is going to seed them pretty low, myself included, I think, considering their track record was. Let me think. Who else? Who has EIU done? What is EIU's history? They've beaten CSUF. They've beaten like Florida when Florida didn't have Hobby. And now it's like, we don't really know. But we'll talk more about that. So, Pitchy saying there might be other teams we haven't seen before signing up as well. There's a list. It's crazy to think about, but yeah, we have like a list of teams that we're like watching to see like, are they gonna come out right now? I'm thinking like maybe even some like other colleges, like NRC colleges or some like programs that have esports programs, but esports teams and just don't have a MK team yet. You never know. I'd be excited to see like a new name drop tonight though. So we'll get into that. By the way, guys, HelloFresh sponsorship. Don't forget about that. I have to gonna do my shameless Stream Elements plug because hey, money. Why not? Plus, maybe if I'm feeling up to it, the seating, like my individual seating stream, like my really long one, the one I do like as registration closes, it might be that might be my like HelloFresh stream where I like eat HelloFresh food, seed teams at the same time. You never know. Shameless plug, but hey, I gotta make money somehow, especially because like hey, new job, maybe get another job. We'll see. And something is like we can't be just doing this. Oh well. There's a command for this. I always forget what it is, but hey, look, there's the HelloFresh thing, the shameless plug. We'll probably leave it at that for today in terms of the HelloFresh stuff. But you know, if you want to try it, there's your opportunity. Anyways, let's talk college Mario Kart stuff. The thing about NRC is that there's been some crazy stuff that happened in the last week. Shout out Lil Bob joining in. How you doing? Aren't you at work right now? I appreciate you tuning in. We like to start off with NRC though, because like NRC brings us some crazy stuff. But like this table is wild. You have Tech winning, like makes sense. Josh K doing well, Short doing well, D-Bow, so who I forgot is at East Coast now, but some great things. And then there's like, excuse me, Sales, like since when? It's so cool because Sales was like one of those players. We knew that the Alabama program was really developing these like up and coming talents, and Sales like just started like last season, And to see sales be doing this well, this in like less than a year is insane. Because you look at who else is here, and it's like, wow, this is a stacked lobby here. Tech, Short, D-Mouse, Milkshake, Colin, Sets, Don't Know, Bagel, Bow, Angle, and have sales doing this stuff. Amazing. I've heard some stuff from the NRC and it's kind of scuffed, but results don't lie here. To put up a 102 in this lobby, Alabama stocks are on the rise, and I don't know if Alabama stocks really fell. I guess they lost Solution, but Alabama's doing this now? This has this kind of representation? Love to see it. So, great stuff over here. And I think the big thing is like really seeing like some of these players, like it adds a lot to how CKL seedings are going to go into. Like, we still know Tech is going to do great stuff. Tech is going to do Tech things, but we're still going to be one of those great options for Kutztown. That's a program we're not really expecting to have like anything wrong. I don't know, still putting up competitive numbers here as well. Michigan State, I think, has been underrated, which is weird to say after their history, that we're kind of at the point where we're like underrating Michigan State a bit, but there's still some great names. Milkshake being, I think, the top NRC rep for their team because there's no green gank, and there are other players I think are lower div of NRC, but it's really cool seeing Milkshake have solid performances because that's another name which like really grew from the collegiate community. They were putting up monster numbers in Division 3 of the last fall, and now it's really fun and rewarding in a way to see like a player competitive really across the collegiate scene. And we know players like Short as well. Michigan, I can't believe we're at the point now where University of Michigan is getting better. Heard there's a pickup there, former D8 pickup, but granted I heard they also didn't play much MKU, if at all, when they won D8. But still, hey, more experienced reps is always cool to have. Really excited to see what Michigan's going to have for that in their fall season. D4 is fun because like we really don't know a lot about the players here. Typically, like, I wish my one thing about like NRC is that I really wish we put the school tags. Hello, Jag, how we doing? Just talking college Mario Kart stuff before we war in less than an hour and a half. So gotta get this little thing done before, just so I can spread myself out nicely and distract myself from work because work sucks. So the thing about NRC is that I really do wish we have like the college names as part of the table. It would make my life so much easier because I know Ronan and Sissy are Morgan. I forget where like half these players are from. I know Lixkey is Kutztown, but it's like, oh gosh. But it's cool seeing things like this because we know that there's a few teams who they have players at this level and there's like I don't want to say roster fillers, but they round out the roster, and now it's going to be seeing how the implications are there. Someone knows where Lego Ball is, especially in the NRC reps knows where Lego Ball is, because I'm blanking right now. I'm so sorry. But I know that from a Morgan side things, Ronan, Sushwater, Sissy, those are not exactly like the top names when you consider Morgan, but to see the depth there, looking out to be nice for them. Hoping to see some good things. And really, if you guys know where any of these players are, college-wise, feel free to let me know because I'm blanking. I'm blanking a bit, and because on NRC I'm not as active as I am with staff stuff, I don't think I have access to the college names. I should just ask like the heads of the league at this point. Can you just give me the roster just so I can have it for making a stream? Please and thank you. And Litsky's a great name to watch at this level because like they are one of the key contributors to what's going to be Kutztown 2, or it's like what Kutztown Inside Lane. That's a program and a team that I think might do some damage and no one is really expecting them to do. But like as someone who's like pretty familiar with a lot of Kutztown, I'm thinking this is a team that's really exciting to watch, and I think Litsky is a big part of that. So while only 72 in D4 East from this past week, I think it's something to watch for still. You look at D2 East, and now you're seeing some crazier things. UAH Green, like, that's a player who's really started to shine within like the past like 6 months or so. You've been watching them just put up these massive numbers, and it's been awesome to see, honestly, especially because they're on my MKU team. And shout out Grounded Gaming. They're also canning up in like an hour or so, so I'm really excited to play with them again. Luxie's also doing well. Max doing well. Asa, one of the Maryland reps. Really excited to see that, and I'm really happy to see Maryland do well at this point, because I know Maryland's one of those teams where like we really just associate as Fates +5, but there's some depth there that really goes under the radar, Asa being one of them. Georgia Tech just signed up. Air hockey. It's such a fun tag. So it's cool to see Georgia Tech representation here, just to give us some data going into the next season, because like, especially with all these new teams, there's a lot of new teams. We're basically double. We're about to hit like double of what we were like last season. Wild, right? And now it's so cool now because we have all these, we have NRC to give us some extra data so we don't go into seedings blind, and that's like really nice to have on our end. Creo is still a great option. One of the best players from UAH, still representing that Funky Kong. Ray, I think, is still one of the biggest players to watch. I know Ray's consistency isn't always there, at least in FFA, but I think with some more experience, especially now with their kind of increased role for UGA, I think you're going to see Ray do something pretty impressive next season. Stepien, she's another insane player from Kutztown, really stepping into like that fourth option at this point, because Kutztown 1 is still stacked. You got Tech, Bapu, Bo. Stepien as a fourth is really strong. Like, she goes under the radar, but she's really solid player to have down there. Nick from FIU is still great. Anomaly has improved a ton over the past few months. Well, I think the fifth option now on KU, definitely a regular starter, so really happy to see that. A lot of great stuff from D2 East. D2 West is fun because I always forget like where all these players are from, but you see players like Archie Lemons, and now like seeing like Amy Bonanza. You see like a lot of like decent things. I know east of NRC, the NRC East group is typically more stacked, but like the West has some good things as well, and I'm really interested to see like players like Archie especially, because we're gonna talk about UNI later on, because UNI is a very interesting team to note, just because of like where are we putting them, especially because like if I know a couple of staff is on the same page here, where it's like UNI stocks are really high, and I think if you look at the community perception, which we'll get a chance to, UNI is looking to be pretty impressive here. Bonanza College card, shout outs. Yeah, I choose the table as Bonanza College card. That's amazing. Honestly, we're at the point now where like every table should just be made into something related to like the winner. Good reward, I think. Instead of a banner, you get your table. D1 West. Wait. Yeah, D1 West, week 2. Or whatever week this was. Pyro's amazing here. Cam is great. I think the bigger thing is seeing players like Rumble and Blenny, as well as Lemons here, because D1 West is surprisingly stacked here, and there's some great names over there. You see Cairo, Cam, Greg, and there's really top heavy. You see Rumble doing well. Oklahoma is a very stacked team still. And I know the stocks related to Oklahoma are really weird because like Oklahoma is a team that's so good in these bracket tournaments. Like they got third in syllabus week 1, second in syllabus week 2. I'm not sure what it's going to be for them in the regular season and playoffs, but because of how deep Oklahoma is, they're never like a team that you can really like count out because of that. And I don't know if Texas Tech is happening. I know every member of staff is like hesitant to like confirm anything because like, oh, 1 week. Yeah, there's gonna be something here with Cam and Greg. They're gonna be D1. And now it's like next week it's like, are they even gonna get 4? We never know with this team. I would love to see Texas Tech be official. I just don't know if we can be like serious about it. I gotta see what the rest of the community thinks there, because I think TTU is a team that would be so good. It's just a matter of can they actually materialize. I think Baruch is in a very similar spot as well. But to see things like here, like, see Greg only get fourth? Only fourth, which is crazy. Think about it. I need TTU. I do too. Because, like, TTU would be so good. Like, we have UTSA now, but, like, it's a crime that we haven't really had a Texas team since Texas Unified. We've had New Mexico, Arizona's back, Oklahoma's there. Would love to see some expansion into the Southeast more as well, but, like, it's so wild that we don't have Texas, really. And I'm really hoping that TTU pulls through. Greg Wash getting fourth? Yeah, it's a surprise, but hey. NRC FFA is kind of stocked. And it's also another thing that's like, players like Shadow, University, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, great data here, because I know a lot of us are familiar with Shadow, being one of the players on Dark Matter, being like one of their leading players in general, and a really strong land player as well. But now seeing them have more data against Collegiate's really cool. So I'm excited to see how Shadow does, especially consider where I'm looking at putting them. Yeah, putting UWM. I think they're gonna be a really fun div, to say the least. And also shoutouts to like Astra, Marcoco, Icy, all great names. It really shows the level of play in this division, which is pretty insane. Two more tables. D3 East has some names that are interesting because a lot of them actually aren't planning on playing CKL. I cannot remember for the life of me where Unknown is from. I know Beta Bread is also in this division. Prism is what, NC State? I want to say NC State. Sac, I forget. Glacial was McDaniel. I don't think McDaniel's happening this season. Sunset, I know, is Kutztown as well as Ocean. MC. Prism is NCSU. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was gonna say, I remember them being on all like the East Coast Morgan Allied teams, and it's like that's sounded about right. As well as Jay is I know is NC State. Greensicle I know is NC State. So yeah, I just have to remember them by the flag. See, this would make life so much easier. Just put the team tag here. Big P is watching. I do remember, though, yeah. Beta Bread did side out Northern Alabama this season. That was a big reason of why I think like NRC is such a great thing to check when you're looking at CKL seedings, because like we know Beta Bread has the representation from Volt Switch, formerly also Max Ambition as well. But it's really good to see them in like the head-to-head against some other teams or against some other like players in their setting, because I think we'll talk about this like down the line, but UNA is a really hard team to like accurately seed. But really that's the case for like almost every new team. If you have one player that we know about +5, we can never tell how good this team is going to be. Hello, Top Hat Bear. How are we doing, fellow Alex? I hope you get that Alex subclan going, because that sounds really fun. Are we doing CKO previews? Yeah, we're going to be doing some CKO previews. Both Switch mentioned. But yeah, there's some great players here. Better Super, I forgot about that. Let's go of the hello Pickley, how we doing? So holy, it's the Big P. Yo, shout out to the Big P. I was wondering to show up here. Excited to see them now, so really cool stuff we got going on later. But yeah, okay, I have about an hour at so let's see how much more of this can I get done before, because we're going into like CKL official stuff, or not official, but like don't mess around with the Big P. Love that. And this is what week? What div? D3 West. Redleaf, Atrium, Mr. Satan, Ichor, Exaltia, Shasta, Lovey Sync, T-Gypt. Let's go to Michigan. What team do I have winning? We'll talk about that next. Because, well, I'm not going through my official seedings today, because the rest of the staff knows my seat. If you look at my seating sheet, like if I leak my seedings right now, it's ordered. Are ordered. It's just they're not ordered. Teams are playing division, but the actual divisions aren't ordered. I have them on ABC order. I won't be revealing who I think is winning or who I think is what I think ratings are until was it the 6th? That's when the deadline goes because I'm doing a that's when I do the big stream. So we'll talk about that because why not? We'll with some time to talk about it. Leak yours? I could if you really want me to, but I think you should. I honestly think if you want to leak your own seedings, you should do it as staff, and then people can talk about that however we'd like. Speaking of CKL stuff, have we seen how many new teams are here? Because we're at 43 squads, and that's wild to think about. Tendo's got leaked already? So, last time we were on, it was the 18th. So, what teams have signed up? University of Rhode Island, I think, just signed up, as well as RIT. NC State is official, and that's so cool. I don't think I have NC State yet, but like to see NC State here, to see them make their debut, clap it up for NC State because we love to see them here. Eventually, we might be at the point where we get to see UNC, Duke, Wake Forest as well. And I don't know yet where we're going to do with NC State, but NC State's going to be really cool. I don't know if URI is going to get 8. Yeah, Rhode Island, I don't know. Rhode Island's one of those teams where I'm not too sure about either. We could talk about that, but for now, it's like, which teams do we know about? CSULB, California State University, Long Beach. Yeah, that's a team I think is going to be really fun to talk about. Because you know this roster is like pretty, and this roster's good. This is a solid roster here with some decent names. When we think about CSU, I think they're it reminds me a lot of like the hypothetical Florida had last season, where it's like there's a duo there, and it's a matter of how good is this duo going to be and how consistent will they play. Because the big thing about like really anything when it comes to CKL is, yes, we have top lineup, but gathering is always just the biggest question for like 80% of these teams. Because if you don't gather top lineup, then your seeding doesn't exactly matter. Because that's how we seed you, and realistically, we don't know what's going to happen here. Tennessee is back. Love this. Waiting for them to get in because, oh man, I need Tennessee to definitely be legit because this team is going to be so fun to watch. Jake Guzzi and Ghost are gotten so much better, so I'm so excited for Tennessee. Oh, yeah, as well. Shit, I didn't know that. Cool. Waterloo. Waterloo is... That's a team. You see this team? You see this team? Like, jeez. Waterloo is such a great team to watch this season, because look at this. The Big P, Iona, Inkite. And then you saw, like, Boss Yoshi put up some decent results as well. Iona returns to defend the crown he never lost from Season 1. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, it's so cool. I'm excited to see this team in action. Like, to see them more. Because the moment I saw that table against OnlyFriends, it's like, what is this? Because that was a good OnlyFriends lineup plus a very strong ally in Peas. So it was like, what the hell is Waterloo doing this season? And now it's like, Waterloo being official is going to shape up seedings to be really cool. Virginia Tech is back. Got Cynical, Steamy, Blizzard. Ice will most likely be there as far as I know. Virginia Tech is solid. And it's another team where, especially because Steamy has improved a lot, I really want to know is like, they can be contending. It's a matter of like, do they gather? Because like, I know Virginia Tech is one of those teams that historically really struggled to gather. Hendrix is brand new, as far as I know. I don't think a single player here has experience. Facade, Castle Keep, Lakia. Facade is new. Castle Keep is new. Okay, they're all new. Shout out the Stream Elements Hello Fresh ad. Yeah, Top Hat has it right. Iona, Ingai, Pickley, and Boss being a top 4 of a team is scary. Because really, when you look at like CKL, the big question is how much depth is, like, how big is your top? Like, everyone has like a top 2, a top 3. The moment you go to top 4, top 5, even top 6, that's when things get really scary. It's why UCSD is always really good. It has been so good in 2024. It's just because of that depth. They don't just have like a top 2. They had like a team that always had a consistent level there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Waterloo reminds me a lot of Michigan. You can argue that Waterloo might be more top heavy. Yeah, I was gonna say it's the big thing about UCSD is, weirdly enough, it's like how different is it without Zach? Because Zach improved so much. It was such a great story. I loved watching them in Summer Switch Up because you saw them just do so well. And yeah, Top Hat has it right. UCSD proving that depth really does matter. Everyone averages 80 last season. Impressive as heck. UNM is back. Boss Zach would need to clear for the draft and went pro. Yeah, pretty much. Which is ironic because they were technically undrafted in Summer Switch Up because they were the sub. Have these New Mexico players been like recruited anywhere yet? Because like, what are we doing? Because this G72 and Bean especially were like really impressive. Like, I don't know, guys, but like literally every team here, like the MKC teams, what are we doing not recruiting UNM? UNM is like such a good program as a whole. Well, GSN died out. I wouldn't really count anything from Lag4 doesn't watch Laggy doesn't watch my streams right now. I wouldn't count anything related to GSN. Nothing against glitchy snipers, it's just like the team never did anything, so yeah, G72 is on my list. I don't know how much of the recruiting list is out for everyone, but G72 is on one of my lists. I was gonna say, I'm surprised because UNM is there's so much talent on the team. Like, it was mentioned already, but like, they win D4 without a repick. And it's just such a shame that they lost because of a repick, but I'm like excited to see for them. For MK Uni, probably, because like, but if they don't want to, that's fine. They got lives, they got stuff to do. That's fine by them. Cal Poly Pomona, I think someone in staff chat called them Cal Polytechnic Panera. CPP, yeah, you got Blaze Cannon from Celestials. If this team gathers, that's gonna be cool. To see another Cali team, because like, we have UCLA, we got UCSD twice. Let's add CPP, why not? CSU Long Beach as well is here. I'm waiting for Berkeley to get a team. Irvine would have been cool. I know one player who was there, but yeah, that's not happening anymore. For reasons, to say the least. I'm trying to think what else happened. Who other teams? It'd be cool to see like Stanford. Occidental had a couple players, like Vistoga I think went to Occidental. Or goes to Occidental. That'd be cool to see. That might be actually here now. I got pinged and I'm not putting it up on my desktop. See where it's it's from there. Okay, is it probably like UML stuff? If it's UML, that'll be fun. Other teams, Georgia Tech. Now that we know that we're at the verge of potentially having 3 Georgia teams. UGA, Georgia Tech, Western Georgia. And like all of them are good, are potentially really good too. Okay, I gotta look at the UML announcement just so because I'm curious. I'd say I had ideas of who. Yeah, captains just got announced. Oh, good captains there. There's some like, who would I want to be with? I don't think any of them's gonna watch, so it's like I can say that outright right now, right? Obviously, like because I know Bo, I would be fine with going with Bo. False King, yeah, been type with that guy. Ginger / LA Knight, that'd be cool. JPG would be fun. Lucky would be cool. Royal would be cool too, because talked with Royal before, he's cool. I'll put you on Lexus team. It's really cool just seeing UML be a thing again though. Because that was the whole like inspiration for like Summer Switch Up, even though I never got to play in UML until now, so that's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought the other Zach was the wrong Zach was listed as captain because like unlucky, oh my god. Or if you give a mouse a cookie. Cool guy. Really liked playing with them and talking to them at MomoCon. Would be so happy to play on that team. In fact, like if I had one person I want to get drafted by personally, it is Zach / Unlucky. Like such a good person. Oh yeah, you're gonna definitely get a. There's so many good players that you're gonna be with here. UML is looking really fun. I don't know where I'm getting drafted. I'm probably gonna go like pretty low, but like, hey, that's fine. I'm just here to have a good time. Georgia Tech, Cal Poly Pomona. So, okay, making sure my other thing there got pinged everywhere today. Wowzers. Okay, let's see. We're at 35 minutes in. What did I have on our agenda today? Thoughts on the state of CKL D3 for this season? Here's the problem. Really, who is D3? Because my thing, at least, I'm not leaking my seedings, by the way, but like D2 and 3, there's a pretty, they're way closer than they have any right to be, and to the point where like there's a lot of teams that could really make the argument either way. Even top of D4, like there's legitimate conversations to be had about like who is D3, because like geez, UCSD or D3. Yeah, maybe if you really want to argue that UCSD 2 is D3, go ahead. I know you're talking about UCSD 1, but like imagine we're going to put Top Hat Bears team as well with the team of Super FX, Wall, Astra, Flights, Luna. That's totally D3. You can quote me on that. That's the problem. There's like 12 teams that could be D3. My main thing is like, there's like, in my mind, there are 7 teams at least that can be D1. There's a few that can argue for it to be moved from D2 to D1, but if you look at D2 and 3, there's legitimately like, it feels like 20 teams. That's probably not actually true, but it feels like 20 teams. If Zabe was on UCSD 1, he would try and get his D2. I could see it. I don't think anyone's lying here. Well, let's be honest, we could see it happen. Morgan's one of those teams who's like, at first I legitimately thought Morgan was like definitely D2, but now I don't know, because D2 and D3 are like really close. And like we can look at some seedings. Not my seedings. We can look at some community seedings and get an idea of what's happening here. I want to give a quick shout out to all these people who are making their own seedings. I think it's really cool, and it gives me some good insight into what you guys are thinking. So there are some. I'm not going to give specific details, but I agree with the top 6. What else to probably move Oklahoma? Because Oklahoma, you and I are. This is a really interesting conversation. Because Oklahoma is deep. UNI is also very deep now, and I'm a huge proponent that because of the big improvements that players like Accident have made, UNI is looking really good. And UNI also has Bugs now, and I think Bugs is like the perfect fit onto UNI, at least on paper. Good, really just adding someone with that experience. I played with Bugs like a couple of years ago, and that's so good to have now on a team like UNI. And I feel like that's like that was their missing piece. And like the funny thing is, like, UNI has yet to make playoffs. I hope that changes. But like UNI is one of those teams where I'm like, legitimately, they're knocking on the door of D1. Kind of top LU Arizona State is D1. That's another team where it's like, so my thing is this. I think everyone can tell my top 7 in some order is UCSD, Michigan, FIU, Baruch, Waterloo, Kutztown, Oklahoma. It's that 8th team that I don't know. Oklahoma versus UNI in D2 finals. That would be insane, but I'm sorry, Rhino. I don't know if I'm putting Oklahoma D2. I'm sorry. I think Oklahoma just has too much depth. My top 5 is RIP St. Clair. Everyone, prayers up for St. Clair, because St. Clair is not happening this season, but it's so sad. ASU is stronger than UNI. That's an argument that I think can definitely be had. So my thing is, I know there's like 7 teams I'm definitely sure is D1. And then there's like 3 teams which I think are like top of D2, which are like UNI, ASU, Maryland. But there's also arguments for quite a few teams. Have you seen Alabama recently? Like, Alabama, I kind of thought Alabama was going to be like bottom D2 without solution, but now they're looking pretty good. Half of their roster is brand new, the comp. I have heard that, yeah. But like, Oklahoma still... There's still some great things going on in Oklahoma that I just can't put them below D1 right now. I think there has to be some big changes, and like they lose one of Rhino, Golden, Rumble. I think you lose one of them, then there's an argument. But right now, I think like Oklahoma is still D1. And Dutch is good. Like, Dutch is good. Miley has also been very good. Like, Oklahoma is good. Like you look at this, like, it's a different Oklahoma, yes, but like, what is this now? They're still solid. That's so real. Being washed since school started. Right now, you're still doing really good, though. I will say your improvements since start of spring last season, it's been incredible. Happy to see it. Taking bribes to move seedings around. No, low-key, I think what was it? Nitro gifted like 10 subs, and I moved Morgan to like D3 or something like that last season. Arizona State. Now this is a team which like has a really high ceiling. I don't know if they hit it this season though. But they're very solid. This season's D1 is an entirely different beast. I would agree with that. Because all of D1 is improved, and that's crazy to think about. UCSD lost Zach, but they do have like a few great players still here. In fact, that entire lineup is still very strong. Michigan got better? You mean to tell me Michigan got better? I don't know if they're on the MKC yet. but Michigan is so strong now. In fact, like, if you want like one of my like early takes, I really think Michigan has a shot to win it all. Like, even before hearing about like their addition of their new guy, Schwager. Oh, so sorry. Oh wow, old school name. I see AGS on there, even though it's AGS 2. Oh, they were LV. Yeah, okay. They got in. Okay, they got in before me. I remember some, because I remember these team names. Haven't really played since LV. Yeah, probably with, what was it, Gank on LV? Because I don't think it was. I don't forget if Gank ever played on AGS. So it was probably with LV. And LV was always solid, both Lethal Vengeance and Lethal Vendetta. You mean to tell me a Michigan starting lineup is Fexiking, Crow, Shogger, Short, Whooper, and like C2D2? Jeez. Now, the question is, do they always have the top 5? Because, like, you know that Fexiking came in late last season, or had to take a break early and then didn't play all the way, but it's like, if this Michigan lineup has that top 5 consistently, that's insanely strong. That's incredibly deep. And that's like the thing is now, like, I am such a proponent now that CKL has turned into a league where you really need depth to win. And like Michigan, always finding one more player. Look at let's wait to see what happens in the spring. They might just find another player, and that's a top 6, because like, look at that Michigan team. I know they were like favorites at the start of last spring. They're looking really good now. No one has the top 5 anymore. Yeah, that is true. The top 5 is gone, sadly. It's tragic. Gone are the days where you could get away with 1 carry. That's so true. You can definitely... It's gone now, at least in Top Div. I think that's what makes it so fun, at least when you look at eventual D4 through 6. And I can't believe we're saying that D6 might be a thing. Because, like, at the rate we're going, we might actually have 6 divs. Crazy, right? But, like, we will go further down. Like, this isn't my seedings, but there are some teams here where it's like, yeah, where you really have, like, 1 carry, and we'll see what happens. UWM has Shadow. You know how excited? I really want Moravian and UWM to be in the same div, because that is, like, very similar, I think. Because, yes, a lot of Moravian players have experience. They also, admittedly, haven't touched the game since last spring. And barely touched it last spring, so... But really now, so what turns into like what looks like a solid deep lineup, but nah, it really is kind of like 1 against 1, and then what does the rest of 5 do? 6 Pidgey plus 5, I didn't even realize that. That's so funny. But yeah, we have similar things. Utah was snowy. I think I have Utah seeded a bit higher than I think I should, honestly, thinking about it now, but like... Michigan has 4 gold players, yeah. Michigan's good. Michigan's good. I don't know what their synergy is like yet, but Michigan is very good on paper. Michigan 2, I think, is actually going to be really fun to watch as well. Can we talk about how, like... a couple people were asking about the lower divs. There might legitimately be a div where we have Michigan, Kutztown, FIU, the second teams all in the same div. You know how fun that's going to be? As well as UCSD 2. Like, that is a great, that's so fun. It's like a repeat of, like, top div. But, like, there's so many good names here. And, like, I am going to be hyping up Kutztown 2 for a long time, because I legitimately think this core is like way stronger than anyone is going to understand until you actually see them here in like the lower divs, because they were all bench players for Kutztown won. But like, they're very solid. They'd be starting on most teams in the 4D3-ish, I would say. Ah, okay. FIA2 might drop divs because of having to promote. That's sad. But yeah, it's a hard thing. Getting 2 teams is not easy. The fact that we have multiple programs now with 2 divs is kind of wild to think about it. But it's really cool because like there's so many good names here now. And I'm really, yeah, I saw that there was a UA Utah scrim potentially happening. That's gonna be cool because like Arizona is another one of those teams where it's like harder to tell where we're seeding them until we get results. And like really, a lot of these teams are like, until I get results, I really don't know what to do yet. UCSD too, I think, is going to be really exciting. They've had some great improvements over their side, and I definitely think that it's a much different team than they were last season. Anyone else? UTSA, that's another team I'm seeing, just because like there's a few names here, because there are a lot of them did come from like Texas Unified, but like it's more of a matter of like how have they been since, because they have experience, yes, but it's hard to tell how much of that experience is translated. EIU is back. That started off the stream with that, and like I don't know where we're putting them aside from like probably like bottom div. Like EIU has experience, but like the thing is like we know Megaphil and Muscolini have shown good results, Panda Dragon as well, but they haven't really had any like big wins. They've beaten like CSUF. They've beaten like Florida when Florida didn't have Hobby playing. So there's some results there. It's just like haven't put the pieces together. I'm wondering how different it's going to be now with that team. But they're solid. I want to know if they like grinded it all since. UNM I think should be going higher, personally. Because I think New Mexico really is underrated. They didn't beat UWO, but they came very close. Would have done it without a penalty. Without, you know, repick. And UWO being 17th. UNM is like, where do I have UNM? Yeah, UNM is one of those teams where I'm like arguing is D3. If you want that kind of like insight. NC State being 19. That's a take. I understand it. NC State has gotten really good. There's some great names on there. It's just a matter of like, do we have NC State exclusive results? Because a lot of the NC State results I've seen have come with like Morgan. And Morgan and NC State have been really impressive. I'm just not sure yet either. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if Iona's happening this season. Would love for them to come back, but I really don't know. Florida is good. I could see them being at this high. My main thing with Florida is just consistency. Because yes, they have Hobby, yes, they have Max and Wolfel, but a lot of them is insane. Yeah, Lyra pick up kind of crazy for NCSU. What's the Lyra? Where's Lyra from again? Oh, Lyra's just solid, yeah. Forgot. Talk about the next seeding zones. Yeah, Iona's most likely out for this season, sadly. Yeah, I have to agree with that. There are some... It's a cool really seeing some of these, though. Nebraska, I think, is going to be really impressive this season. Tennessee. This is a very different Tennessee team than before. Is Ellie Silver and Lounge? That sounded about right. Virginia Tech. Could be good. I think Virginia Tech might go higher. But they're always one of those teams that's really confusing. Alabama at 14. I think that's about right. That's about where I have them, I want to say. Could be wrong, but I think that's where I have them. Like, roughly in my mind. UCLA is good. It's a different UCLA because no Cairo, but like but they still proven to be solid. That's another one of those teams that's like D2-ish, I want to say, like solidly. But D2 and D3 are close. Yeah, losing Zoo and Sarazen. I've heard that. Is Ice from VT the same as Ice Egg? Hate you guy. Is he? I know this Virginia Tech Ice is the same one that was on, like, I want to say it was like XI. I'll let you take a look at their profile real quick so we can get to that. Okay, Richard G. Duck. They're not here. Okay, Stevie. Using this as war chat is wild. Yeah, fire hydrant, ice. If it's this one, then yeah, I think so. V2, I would agree that V2 could be a dark horse winner to win D2. It's a matter of if they are gathering. Because the thing with them is it's always come down to that. Will they actually get 6 and will all of them be available? Or like will they actually have like Ice and Cynical available? Especially because D2, this D2 is not looking easy. Top up bear looking for allies in chat here. It's awesome. Oh my god. Doing homework with streaming backgrounds are probably not. Aw. That's so real though. Okay, so some interesting takes here. I think it's really cool seeing the rest of the seedings then, because let's take a quick look at Rippy's.
Tom Brady is trying to track down our Hertz customer.
YouTube ads, love that. Oh, this is updated today. Oh wow. When subject to change, that makes sense. So let's go, above getting off work. I am ending stream in like about 20 minutes because I have war at OO anyway, so. Plus Wiggler Wednesday, I gotta play on Wiggler, so that's fun. What is chat's takes on Baruch? Legitimately. Because Baruch is one of the most difficult teams to like seed in D1, I think. Purely because it's like we have no idea what is going to happen with the other members of that team. If they even get other members of that team. Like, that top 3 is crazy. Darky, Luckyo, Momo, that is a phenomenal top 3. But, and that's, if you look at just 3s, that might have a take to be the best one. It's like them in like Michigan, maybe. Could Ally playing against the T11 team chat? No, agreed. These teams are awkward. Like, yes, exactly. Speaking of MKU experience, yeah, it's if you have top 3 plus like everything else, is like, yeah. And the thing is, the thing about Collegiate is always that gathering is a nightmare. I've said it multiple times now, but those teams were able to gather their top players consistently, amazing. But you look at a team like Baruch, if one of that top 3 is gone for 1 week, that team, that's, especially in this D1, that is a much harder win at that point. Because like, and like Baruch is such an interesting team. And there's such a wild card team to root for here. Hello, Iona. If you look at war standards, I would agree. I think that Waterloo is deeper. We also just don't know if Baruch is going to be a thing. But, like, yeah, I would say they're very similar. Because, like, the way Waterloo, I think, is such a cool team to look at as well because of that. Because you look at Pickley, Iota, Ingite, like solid roster overall. That's very cool. It's so cool now that I'm at the point where I get like high div players in my chat just because of like just because of them doing collegiate stuff. Like, this is so cool. A year ago I didn't expect this to happen. But now here I am, talking about University of Waterloo, Baruch College with a HelloFresh thing in chat. So that's cool. Baruch is such an interesting team. I don't know what to do with them yet. They're D1 for now, but that's also assuming that they gather, because we don't even know if they're gonna get 5 more. It's a big college, relatively talking, when considering the overall scheme of like CKL, because I think they're like what 19,000-ish last I checked, and now it's a matter of can they find 5 more players, and that top 3 has to play every time or else it's over, and the other 3, whoever fills in, has to be at least competent, I think, and at least be able to hold their own, because you saw what happened with Michigan last season, where that top 3, it's actually, that's a great way to put it. Baruch is kind of like Michigan last season, where Michigan for the longest part of their season had Crow, Whooper, Shorts, and then the other 3 were brand new, it felt like, or less experienced. And they kind of got eaten up at times, and it really came down to how much carrying can the top 3 do. So they struggled a bit in the regular season, and then the Mexican came back, and then bang, top 4, and now Shogger here, top 5 potentially. Michigan being number 1, I could see that. I think Michigan's a definite dark horse to win it all. UCSD has the depth. Kutztown, FIU. It's weird, because Kutztown still has Technical and Bapu, and Bo has gotten better. Steepion's a solid 4th. Then it's Anomaly, MC. And I want to give my Pennsylvania bias. I feel like I do put FIU over Kutztown, just because the FIU is deep as heck now. I think it comes down to like the 5th, 6th matchup, and I think Anomaly is very good, and MC has gotten better. But like, you look at the potential there from FIU. You have Green, you have Gank, Milkshake, Ted Bear, Nick, MD Rex. I think the 4-5-6 I think swings in favor of FIU, very slightly at least, at the minimum. And I don't know Kutztown's depth right now. I will say the nice thing about being in the Pennsylvania scene is that I can kind of see like the Kutztown players. Kutztown has 20 players now, but in that program, I don't think they're all on their respective teams yet. I could be wrong, but like Kutztown 1 has potential. There's a lot of potential here, especially like Swaggy P. I don't know, Swaggy. Oh, Lego Ball. That's where I saw Lego Ball from. Lego Ball is balling out in NRC. Okay, Lego Ball might actually be over MC. They have some depth. I think it's closer to with FIU than I expected, but I think I might still have Kutztown 4th. I'll have to think about it. We go down further. I think the reality is I don't know where I'm putting UGA, and I don't know if I'm putting him top 10. I think not having Spoon this season, at least as far as I know, unless Spoon is here or is back. Oh, look at you. Oh my god, Riffy on Kutztown, that'd be fun. Shout out to that. I've been working on apps too. Where am I? What have I leaked of where I might be going? I might be going to Georgia next year. You never know. Georgia and Maryland are like the 2 CKL schools I'm like really considering right now. Georgia/PSP is really fun to think about, especially with Taka. Just having like a Japanese lounge player like on their side now is like so interesting. I don't know if I have Georgia top 10. I think I have them closer to like middle or bottom of D2 right now. That could be changing. That changes all the time. But I think at the moment that's where I got him. UNI, I probably have closer. I think I would personally swap UNI and Georgia at the very least, because UNI is very solid now. The thing about it's why I also have UNI over VT is that UNI has depth that Virginia Tech doesn't, because Virginia Tech still has Ice and Cynical. It's just that UNI has an improved Lemons, an improved Accidents. Archie's gotten better. Icy's still solid, and you added Bugs. So like, I think they're just deeper than VT, and they kind of can just cancel out. I think just having like a solid top 5, almost top 6, really just cancels out the strong duo in VT. And even though Steam is a great third, I would probably put UNI up. UNI is just one of those teams that's like really improved, and I'm really excited for that. Maryland, another fun team to talk about, just because like originally I think a lot of us had them D1 because of like, oh, it's Fate, and we know there's like experience on that side. We just haven't really seen it come to fruition yet. I haven't seen it win outright. GBR for UNL. I'm trying to think what else I got here. Let's see. From teams I know off the top of my head, yeah, makes sense. Relative order makes sense here. I will put LB up higher, personally. UNM over Moravian, I think is something I definitely do. I have to reevaluate the third teams. UA is also another fun team to consider. Milwaukee over EIU, maybe? I think that's another thing. That's an argument. Because, like, the thing is about Milwaukee is that we know they have at least one, like, really talented player. And EIU has experience, but we just... And they have, like, some decent results. It's just a matter of, like... have they actually touched the game? If EIU shocks the world this season, don't be surprised, but, like, it would definitely be one of those, like, shock the world type of things. KU2, inside lane. Do I have him over UWM? It's a debate. It's a debate for sure. RIT is is another interesting team here. Purely because it's like, it's very similar to UNA, UWM, where we have a player who's a 200 player, granted, but to see them here is like interesting then. Florida as well. Florida is another team where it's like, I've seen the fluctuations between their placements. You see it even just from staff, because there's a few teams, like the teams I feel like staff is like unsure of what we're doing with yet. Tennessee for one. Morgan maybe. EIU's back. I would keep him on the list. They haven't signed up yet, but rumor has that EIU's coming back. Utah, I think, we're waiting on results. Utah might actually be a better Moravian. We'll see. It's really the Moravian thing, and we'll talk about it like down the line, probably next week or on the 6th. Moravian's entire thing is who is going to be that number 2. It could be Baja, it could be someone else, but like it's a matter of like who is going to be that number 2 option. It'd be cool. It'd be poetic to see Moravian and Arizona in the same div. If you know, you know. At the rate we're going, I'd probably put Moravian under Arizona. Arizona, I think, with 6 and Fitchy is solid. And then there's a bit of experience there still. It's a matter of, like, what else happens. Not leaking everyone's seedings, but we are looking to see. So the thing is, if y'all know your top lineups, put them in so we can update this, because like, especially for teams we don't know about, if y'all are able to give me your top lineup, make our lives on staff easier, just so we know who to really look for. I also have to update a couple. We have to update this with some like. I'll go. Probably Anomaly and then MC slash Lego. I think that's probably Kutztown top LU right now. Darkylkyo, Momo +3. Just gonna throw bugs here. Wow, that's a team. That's probably their top 6. Could be wrong here, but like some of these teams are deep. Jeez, I didn't realize how deep UNI is now. Michigan State, I think, is gonna be solid still. If we assume Iona happens, that's not even. I don't even think that's their top LU. From what I've heard now, it's. I think that's a potential Iona LU. I don't know if Cito's playing anymore either. I have to check on on Iona on what's happening, because I feel like there's a few names who are just not there. I don't know if Yoshi90 is there anymore either. It's how it is. It's how it is. Okay. Well, guys, we're at 13 viewers. This is rough. So I'm about to wrap up stream soon. Any questions in the next 5 or so minutes before I wrap up? Drop your questions in chat. I'll answer them as much as I can here. The only thing I will not be answering is stuff about my own seedings. I am not leaking my seedings, nor am I leaking who I think is winning each division yet. But in the meanwhile, if you have any other questions, let me know. Oh dang, what's what? This also helps because I don't have anyone to raid yet either, because no MK people that want to raid, and there's actually, well, let me check the category before I just send you off to like some random channel. Yes, this is all. I'm not leaking any of the staff seedings. So, like, I will not be showing, like, Fitchy seedings, Ted Bear seedings, Bo, Marcoco's, Bob's, Rumbles, anyone else in staff seedings. Like, yeah, because I can't show staff seedings yet, because we're going to do a reveal show similar to what CCA does the Thursday before we start the season. Teams list isn't updated, so that's why we're not showing it. That's the basic gist of it right now. But yeah, that's about it for here. I will say thank you to Wall and Rippy for giving me your seedings to look at. Really cool stuff overall. And it gives me some good insight into what I want to do with my seedings, because there are a few changes I gotta make, NC State being one of them now, thinking about it, because it's like, that team is better than I'm giving them credit for. And like, we'll talk about it in staff later, but it's like, geez, D3, D2, D3, even D4 is like, what are we doing? D's like, 1 is kind of set. 5, kinda. 5 is whoever's left, and 6 is also whoever. 6 is all the new teams pretty much. But at this point, we really don't have anything yet. So, what's the okay? Teams list is updated. Nice. Yeah, it is updated. So I haven't looked at this in a while. Okay, I haven't looked at teams list in a while. I think last I saw it wasn't like fully updated yet. And even then, it's not really giving us a ton of stuff that we already don't know. So imagine we just tell people this is the seedings. Oklahoma's first overall. Arizona State's D1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So seeds are actually just based in like order of sign up. Here's D1. Jesus, this D1 would be insane. Let's go UTSA, Roadrunner Racers. And then Morgan is D2. Where's the crazy thing? Oh my god, if we do it by order, then it's like we get the UCSDs in the same division. Can you imagine how fun that would be? Literally just HD, or in the past, the Elixirs together. Top Hat said that I think they need an ally. I forgot if I mentioned that or not. Anyone I got a raid? I actually don't know. Because otherwise, spreadsheets are neat. I will say, guys, if you guys got any insight, input on what top LUs for your teams are, please drop them. Whether that be like CKL General, DM them to me, whatever you gotta do. Because there's like, especially with some of these teams, I got no idea. Okay, I said I was ending at 45-ish. Oh, dang, Nick just joined us. I'm about to wrap up. That's such a shame. But shout out to you for coming in. Shout out to also great stream producer. Not just for the college Mario Kart stuff, but really just for everything as well. It's been really fun working with Nick. Okay, I'm about to say any new teams sign up before I wrap up, because like if I see a new team, I'm gonna lose it. Nope. Okay. Also, for everyone here, get your players signing up, because look at this. ASU, you're 1 away. Maryland, 1 away. I know a lot of you guys have at least 8. So get your players in. Oklahoma, looking at you. What are we doing? You guys played. But yeah, UCSD won also. What happened? I know, it's so sad. I really wish UCSD was able to recruit, but like this spring is gonna go crazy for them. Can high schools participate in NRC 4v4? As far as I know, no. I don't think that's gonna change, because like technically there's like 4 different high school leagues that I can think of. There's like one in the Midwest. Play Versus is a thing. Really, just a few leagues. They don't need this. They'd need a better one, but like an alumni team for high school, that would go crazy. San Diego State would be so cool. Do we need more California schools? Maybe. I would say I would like to see a couple like other states join in. Washington, if we're going north. If we're going west, Oregon and Washington, just getting a team from those states would be cool. The fact that we have an Idaho team is also fun. We'll hope to eventually see like Montana, the Dakotas, Wyoming. I'm trying to think. We don't have a Colorado team as far as I'm aware. We'd like to get that. Midwest. The Midwest really should be getting more. We'd love to see that. Because Iowa, Northern Iowa, we know is a thing. Would love to see teams more from like the Illinois, the Great Lakes regions. So like a Minnesota team. Wisconsin's represented now. Get more of these teams in. If you guys know players, get them to sign up. If you guys know players from like other colleges, get them in. We got a couple weeks left until we have CKL officially kicking off. So let's start wrapping things up then. What do we got going on next week? So next week's gonna be more the same, another short stream. The 6th, so yeah, we're doing something on October 2nd, another short stream. October 6th is the big one. Probably gonna be like a 4-hour stream at this point. We're gonna go through all of the teams. We're gonna actually do my seedings. I'm gonna call Oklahoma America's team again and put the American flag in reverse. That's how we know it's gonna be. But until then, we'll kick off more because we're coming down to the wire here in terms of CKL officially starting. NRC is still going on strong as well. So same time, maybe not same time next week. I know today was at 7:30. We might skip at 7:30 so I can war at 9. We'll see. I'll announce something in CKL later on. So until next time, guys, thank you for everyone who stopped by. It was fun talking to you, but we'll see you guys next week for some more CK201. Have a good night, guys.